Coming up on tonight's broadcast, Toyota's acceleration problem, an OSU class sends students to jail, and a big win for tobacco companies. All that and more right here on the Beaver News.
Good evening and welcome to your Tuesday night edition of the Beaver News. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Mary Johnson.
And I'm Hayden Wilcox. In response to overwhelming support, Oregon State University will be expanding its campaign for OSU to try and reach a goal of $1 billion. Since its launch in 2007, the campaign has raised over $800 million from alumni and current students alike, reaching across more than 60,000 households. Designed to provide students with scholarships and new equipment for the school, the amount of money that has been raised thus far has surpassed expectations and has led to the creation of one of the greatest building projects that Oregon State has ever seen, the $62.5 million state-of-the-art Linus Pauling Science Center. Donations have also helped fund major landmarks such as the Holly Ford Center and the White Track and Field Center. Over the years this campaign has run, donations have helped fund more than 450 new scholarships, a monumental 30% increase from post-campaign years. As reported by the university, the original goal, set in 2007, was set at approximately $625 million. In 2010, that goal was changed to $850 million to compensate for exceeding expectations, and once again the bar has been set just a little bit higher. The university hopes to reach its $1 billion mark by 2014.
A substation interruption around 3:30 p.m. yesterday afternoon caused a power outage that affected over 2,500 Corvallis residents, 10 buildings on campus, and numerous businesses north of campus. Don Eiler of the Daily Barometer reports that campus buildings affected were closed around 4:30 and all people were removed. Pacific Power reported that power was restored to buildings around 6 p.m. to residential customers by 7:30. While the power outage forced many businesses on Monroe Street to close early for the evening, a few stayed open in spite of the inconvenience. Workers at American Dream used headlamps, set out candles, and continued to make their pizza. McMinimans also stayed open, serving soup, salads, turkey, sandwiches, and beer.
Registration is upon us, which means it's time to look for classes, and one class in particular could be worth your interest. The appeal? You'd be having class with a bunch of convicted criminals. The new class, Sociology 499H, Crimes, Communities, Prisons, and Preventions, is teaming up with the Inside Out program to create a very different learning environment for students. As part of the class, students would be placed in classes with incarcerated members of society for the purpose of sharing perspectives and getting an inside look as to what it really means to be behind bars. Created in 2004 by Temple University in Pennsylvania, the Inside Out program has been adopted by many colleges across the country, including U of O, PSU, and Oregon State, all of which hope to educate their students as to the effects of criminal justice system on society as a whole. As reported by Alex Hilborn of the Daily Barometer, the program was originally intended to match up students with adult male inmates who exemplified good behavior. However, the new class, starting in spring term, will be the first program to be held in a youth facility, operating with juvenile inmates. Sociology professor Michelle Inderbitson explains that the combined groups will discuss the ways which change in the current system based on their experiences or propose new system different from the current. Dean of Honors College Tony Doolin has described the experience as life-changing and believes that it will become an Honors College favorite very quickly. We now go to Kim Stoll with a report on the Humane Society.
I'm Kim Stoll here at the Heartland Humane Society. Let's go inside and take a look. So Emily, tell me, what is your favorite thing about working here at the Humane Society?
Well, obviously I get to work with animals, but I also, starting here, I knew I would get to work with animals, but I also get to work with people and lots of different kinds of people, which is great. So I get to sort of facilitate positive interactions between people and animals, and I would say that's my favorite thing.
That's great. So about how many animals a year do you guys adopt out here?
We place about 2,000 animals a year, sometimes up to about 2,200. So lots of different animals and all kinds of domestic animals. So the obvious cats and dogs, but also rabbits and guinea pigs and all their friends, and even reptiles and small livestock.
Okay, great. So can you tell me something about the volunteers here and maybe how you could get involved?
Okay. We have open volunteer orientations twice a month, and we have about 300 active volunteers, which that's anybody that's been in here at least once in the past 4 months. So people can come and go as they please, and we'll always find somewhere to plug them in.
Great. So how long have you been working here?
I have been here 7 years. It seems like forever, honestly, but doing a lot of different things. I started in animal care, but now I'm coordinating some of the programs for the Humane Society.
Okay, great. And how long has the Humane Society open? Do you know some history about it?
We have been an organization since the 60s. We were not housed, and so we didn't have a building, people just caring for animals in their homes. In the 70s, we bought a building, used that for a while. It wasn't meant for animals, but in 2000, we had this really nice building built, and this is actually built for animals, which makes it easier to heat and cool and clean, and it's nice for people to visit. And so we've been in this building here since 2000, 12 years old.
Perfect. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, and we're so grateful. If you'd like to learn more, visit them online at heartlandhumane.org. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kim. A new ECampus course is coming spring term for NMC students. Drew Wilson McGrath of the Daily Barometer reports that this new course, NMC 499, is taught by liberal arts advisor Jeff Hale. It focuses on pornography and how it is revolutionizing the way people utilize media outlets for both business and pleasure. The class will be offered in an online format during spring term via OSU's eCampus. The course touches on a variety of points surrounding pornography, its production, and impact in our society since its inception. It covers porn in a social, cultural, political, economic, and technological basis. NMC 499 does not promote the viewing of pornographic material, nor do students view pornography in class. However, the class does require a certain comfort level when analyzing sexual topics and behaviors. According to the class material, phallic representation stirred back thousands of years. Internet and digital enhanced pornography is one of the newest forms of this expression.
Last Thursday night, ASOSU President M. Tonga Poi presented her tri-annual State of the Student address in front of a captivated audience. During her speech, the president addressed recent dissonance in her recent activities, which, as you may remember, include misallocation of funds and overpayment of members of the executive branch. President Hapoi humbly addressed these issues and requested that the forgiveness of the student body as a whole. As part of her speech, President Hapoi took great effort to bring forward the accomplishments of ASOSU task force directors under her administration. As reported by Don Eiler of the Daily Barometer, the speech was followed by a standing ovation from the joint coalition of ASOSU, as well as discussions on the proper management of budgets and a reading on the recently passed 14-page Resolution 7301. In regards to the overwhelming evidence that OSU has not been properly coordinating with the Able Student Alliance, Resolution 7301 was designed to accumulate funds and create a task force in order to manage the creation of building entrances and transportation that coincide with national ADA regulations. As President Hapoi stated in her speech, she hopes to leave the past behind her and move forward with ASOSU to provide understanding and collaboration in their march towards restoration. We are heading into our first short break of the evening, but don't go anywhere because when we return, we'll have a weather update and a look at news around the nation. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Beaver News right here on Channel 26. The Aquatic Fish Research Facility has reported various complaints of health issues following claims that Snell Hall has mold growing in the walls. Amanda Intel of the Daily Barometer reports that weather conditions caused flooding in 2 rooms on the 4th floor of Snell. Fish research faculty members wanted relocation from Snell Hall because of the health problems. Unfortunately, they were denied because of lack of space. Because of the severity of the problem, it forced some faculty to work from home or out of office. While Snell is an old building, other faculty remain skeptical of the idea of mold growth in the building. There has been numerous inspections on the building for hazards, mold in particular. However, what they found was nothing unexpected for a building as old as Snell. Cooper, who helps maintain 8 buildings on campus, hopes Snell's replacement will be of more use. Snell is not scheduled for reconstruction. Reporter Courtney Becker has coverage from yesterday's Beavs Helping Kids event at the OSU campus. Courtney?
I'm Courtney Becker getting the inside scoop of the new organization, Beavs with Kids. Let's go check it out. Hi, I'm Courtney Becker here with Taylor Nelson, who is the Public Relations Coordinator of Beavs Helping Kids. So Taylor, tell me a little bit about your role in this organization.
As Public Relations Coordinator, I make flyers, buttons, give speeches, all kinds of stuff, basically telling students about the organization and trying to help them get involved in any way that they want.
Awesome, and what are some upcoming events coming up?
Right now, today we're in the quad. We have our dance marathon, our mini event, which will be April 28th in McNary Dining Center, and people need to register for that event. But basically, that's our next thing that's coming up for us.
I'm here with Keely Burtek, who is the director of the organization Beavs with Kids. So tell me a little bit about your role in the organization.
So I'm the director of the organization along with another co-director named Alex Ruger, and what I do is I deal with the administrative tasks such as setting up a bank account, doing accounting, I deal with risk assessment and other things like that. So I'm really kind of overlooking the whole operation while we have other members that are doing more of the grunt work, I guess you could say.
And what do you hope to see out of this organization? What do you hope to see come out of this?
Out of this, I hope to see a lot of people on campus come together to help support this cause, Children's Miracle Network. And through this event and through our organization, you have the opportunity to meet a lot of the children that are helped by Children's Miracle Network. So I think that through this, that a lot of people can come together and with that one common cause and create a bit better community.
Okay, how did this organization come to campus?
A lot of us on the executive team right now who are part of Kids Helping Kids pageants in the Eugene-Corvallis area. And so a coordinator from Sacred Heart Hospital, which benefits from our fundraising, came to us and asked us, would you want to start this organization on campus? The U of O already has a dance marathon that had about 800 participants this year. So we kind of hope to reach that and maybe even more, raise more money than them. So it's kind of become a competition between us and the U of O.
And what exactly is a dance marathon? Can you give us a little bit of detail about that?
So a dance marathon is not necessarily dancing the entire time as in, 26-hour marathon of dancing. Our first event's only 3 hours, and then next year will probably be about 8 to 12. And so at the event, you have a lot of the families that are helped by Children's Miracle Network, and also some other speakers in the community. You also have dancing, of course, different games, you have food, DJ, performances such as the cheerleaders or dance team, or musical guests such as our a cappella groups. So it's kind of just a celebration of all of our fundraising efforts.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and best of luck to you. To find out more about Beavs with Kids, the new organization here on campus, check out their Facebook page. I'm Courtney Becker, and back to you in the studio.
Story. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about more on the Occupy movement. And so while the Occupy movement continues, the possibility to educate students around the world on the concepts behind the movement grows even stronger. Such a presentation was given to OSU students last Thursday as Occupy Oregon State University hosted an economic teach-in. The teach-in, titled The Economic Survival Guide for the 99%, a special discussion about surviving competition-based economies, featured a wide array of subjects ranging from the creation and establishment of the Corvallis Hour Exchange Program and the distinction between money and finances versus economics. Speakers for the presentation included Elena Kennedy, spokeswoman for the Hour Exchange, who explained her program as an alternative to U.S. currency. Speakers also included William Daniels, who works in collaboration with the Occupy Portland movement, and Mindy Crandall, president of the Coalition of OSU Graduate Employees, who spoke about the rights of workers. As reported by Katya Cosber of the Daily Barometer, Ms. Crandall's presentation discussed the misconceptions behind the rights of employees, which include the explanation behind terminations, access to employer files, and even breaks. During the course of the discussion, the overall theme of the eventual expiration of the current policies, and it became very clear to students and faculty alike. We are now going to Joe Hedberg with a look at our local forecast. Joe?
Hello and good evening, Corvallis. Tonight I have your 5-day forecast. Tonight expect to see some clear skies with a low of 27 degrees. Wednesday we have some sunny skies with a high of 52 degrees and a low of 30 degrees at night. Thursday, more sunshine with a high of 61 degrees and a low of 34 degrees at night. Friday we have some cloud cover with a high of 59 degrees and a low of 41 degrees at night. Finally, on Saturday, we are unfortunately back to the rain with a high of 52 degrees and a low of 39 degrees at night. That's your 5-day forecast. Back to you in the studio.
Family and friends of 16-year-old Demetrius C. Hewlin, one of the 3 students killed in the Ohio school shooting, were preparing Monday to say their final goodbyes. CNN reports that a visitation was set for Hewlin at Burr Funeral Home in Chardon. Hewlin was killed last week, and a lone gunman opened fire at the Sheridan High School's cafeteria. 2 other students were hospitalized, and another was grazed by gunfire. The shooting rocked the school and community of 5,100 people about 30 miles east of Cleveland. Authorities say T.J. Lane, 17, was charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, 2 attempted aggravated murder, and 1 of felony assault. Lane's friends have said that the teen had a troubled childhood. His parents had both been charged with domestic violence against each other. According to court documents, his father also served prison time for assaulting a police officer and was charged with an assault on another woman.
A recent technical problem may prompt you to pay attention to what kind of car you buy, as a report from Toyota explains that its newest car, the Toyota Tundra, may have some faulty equipment. According to a publicized document direct from Toyota engineers, the Tundra has been known to experience sudden unintended acceleration during pre-production trials. Engineers explained that this malfunction could be the cause of new software said to be installed in the car that detects obstructions in the road and slows down until obstructions are passed. The original document was released to the public in 2006 in Japanese, the language of the company engineers. Upon its release, CNN commissioned a translation of the text, which revealed comments from the engineers pertaining to sudden acceleration in the case of pedal sensor abnormality. To this, Toyota quickly responded that there had been a mistranslation and that no anomaly could possibly occur because of the system. Upon a second translation, the same problem was acknowledged, since which Toyota has chosen not to make comment. This information is putting some Toyota owners on edge, and for good reason. As reported by CNN, 331 incidents of sudden acceleration were reported to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in 2011 alone, reckoning back to the days of the Prius problems of 2004. Toyota insists that this malfunction could be the doing of some unforeseen variable, but has failed to provide further comment.
There's an investigation in effect into the bounty scandal that has been reverberating across the NFL. CNN reports that this investigation threatens to tarnish the good image of the New Orleans Saints franchise. The NFL said as many as 27 players were paid up to $1,500 for vicious hits that would knock opposing players out of the game or force them to leave the field. Players paid into the bounty fund that had reached as high as $50,000, and Saints defensive coordinator Greg Williams would dole out the payments based on game performance. On Monday, NFL security officials continued interviewing coaches and players across the league. Williams admits to carrying out the cash for performance scheme. The NFL said, in addition to Williams, sanctions will be brought against the New Orleans Saints head coach. We are now going to a short break, so we'll be back in just a minute.
Welcome back to Beaver News, live on Channel 26. A federal mandate to place graphic imagery on packets of cigarettes has been thrown out by a judge in Washington this week after controversy arose regarding free speech. In 2009, the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act was passed, allowing for the creation and placement of 9 written and graphic warnings on packets of cigarettes in an effort to deter people from smoking. These images would include 9 emotion-evoking pictures, such as a man smoking through a tracheotomy hole, a woman and her child becoming subject to secondhand smoke, and a comparison of healthy lungs versus those of a smoker. Next to these pictures, anti-smoking phrases such as "cigarettes are addictive" and "tobacco smoke causes harms to children" would also be present. On Wednesday, however, the mandate was tossed out by Judge Richard Leon after appeals were heard from major tobacco companies. Several corporations stepped forward to proclaim that these mandates were harmful to the production and promotion of specific brands, not to mention the fact that the new policy would be cost prohibitive. CNN reports that the FDA and the Justice Department, who were both strong supporters of the mandate, were without comment after the ruling. As many of you probably aware, as of fall term 2012, OSU will become a smoke-free campus after the measure was passed through a student vote.
Months after his first trial ended in a hung jury, Jason Young was convicted Monday by a North Carolina jury of first-degree murder in the beating death of his pregnant wife. CNN reports that Michelle Young was discovered dead in 2006 in a Raleigh home. Her husband, Jason, first went on the trial last June, but the jury could not unanimously agree on the verdict. Jason Young, now 37, struck her over 30 times, seemingly only stopping after he was exhausted, said the judge. The defense had argued that it was intruders, not the defendant, who had killed Michelle Young. Quote, "There may have been two killers in the house, but neither of them was Jason Young," argued defense attorney Brian Collins. However, prosecutors responded saying, quote, this is not a stranger crime. This is an act of domestic violence that has been coming on. We are now going to Tyler Dahlgren with a look at sports. Tyler?
Oregon State junior Jared Cunningham was named to the All-Pac-12 first team for the first time in his career and the All-Defensive team for the second consecutive season. Cunningham leads the Pac-12 in scoring at 18.2 points per game in steals, averaging just over 2.5 per game, and could become just the sixth player in conference history to lead the league in both categories in the same season. He scored 30 or more points in 3 games this season and had a steal in 28 consecutive games dating back to last season, the third longest streak in Oregon State history. He is the first Oregon State player to be named to the first team since David Lucas in 2005. Cunningham became the 37th player in Oregon State history to hit the 1,000-point plateau and is currently 21st on the list with 1,173 points, and moved into the top 5 on the Beavers' career steals, career free throws made, and career free throws attempted lists. Oregon State opens the Pac-12 tournament tomorrow at noon against Washington State at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. The Beavers are the number 9 seed and the Cougars are the number 8 seed. The game will be televised nationally on FSN. In women's basketball, senior Irlesia Marchbanks, junior Patricia Bright, and freshman Allie Gibson also earned Pac-12 honors yesterday. Marchbanks was named All-Pac-12, Gibson was tabbed All-Pac-12 honorable mention, and All-Freshman by the vote of Pac-12 coaches, and Bright was voted to the All-Defensive team. Marchbanks finished the regular season as the team's leading scorer, averaging 12.1 points per game, the rebounding leader, assists leader, and steals leader. She becomes the 19th selection in Oregon State history to the All-Conference team. Gibson becomes the first Oregon State player since Casey Vaughn in 2003 to earn both All-Conference and All-Freshman team honors. Gibson is the 10th Oregon State player to earn All-Freshman team status, joining sophomore Alyssa Martin, who earned the same honor last season. Rounding out the group, Bright became the single-season block shots record holder, recording 101 blocks during the regular season. 61 of those blocks came in conference play alone. The 6th-seeded Beavers open play in Pac-12 tournament tomorrow against the 11th-seeded Washington State at 7:15 p.m. Should the Beavers win, they will face number 3 USC on Thursday at 7 p.m. Taking a look at the NBA, the Blazers snapped their 3-game losing streak at home last night, picking up a much-needed win against the Western Conference worst New Orleans Hornets 86-74. The win puts the Blazers at 19-19, good for 4th place in the Northwest Division. Raymond finished with 11 points and 10 assists while committing just 1 turnover. That's our news for you. That's Northwest Sports. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for more national, international, and local news right here on KBVR. Have a good night, everyone.